What's up, friends? So I got more SPL action. This is from week 2 ADV as you can see right here. Fakes versus triangles. I always knew fakes as a DPP here, but I guess he plays ADV and maybe he's more recognized for ADV or he's better at it. Because like I said, I'm not in tune with the whole community, like inner workings and stuff. Like I said, I just play games. But like I said, that's how I recognize fakes is from DPP. But like I said, he's playing ADV right now, playing triangles. Uh, yeah, not much else to say. Oh yeah. So I recorded Golden Sun vs. Jabba. That was from week 1. And I wanted to upload it, but I was going over my narration and it wasn't that good, and I'm too lazy to do it over. Especially because there's a high probability that you can find a better one on BKC's channel. Actually, yeah, he did upload it. But there's really high probability that his narration, no matter how much I try to improve mine, is just going to be better, just because he knows more about ADV that's here. So I'm not uploading it, but if you want me to upload it, then you can go ahead. But I don't think the narration on that one is that good, but maybe you just want to see it hearing my fantastic voice. But who knows? So I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. So we have lead tar from fakes, and we're going to see triangles lead in a second. It's melodic. That's a very unusual lead. This indicates stall, maybe. I know sometimes melodic is a lead because it'll carry like hypnosis or something, and that's a main reason why you'll use it over Suicune. But still, it's just a really unusual lead because melodic it doesn't really gain you that much momentum, and outside of recover, Suicune has a little bit more overall bulk as well as just more offensive presence. And then also you have the ability to use Roar to scout teams, and then Calm Mind to threaten things offensively. So Toxic goes off triangles, probably predicting some sort of sleep fodder. Or maybe he would rather have the tar paralyzed. Lead tar is usually like, it's usually either like mixed tar or like bulky tar with roar. So Melodic's gonna come back, Celebi is gonna come out, and we see Fortress, and we saw Blissey earlier, so it looks like Fakes is running stall. Definitely a bit of an unusual thing. I've seen a lot more Fortress in this SPL than I have in a while in ADV. And just a lot more stall in general. I think that's a very interesting trend. Considering that for the past few years now, ADV's been getting more offensive. There's Magneton. Do we see Fake switch scouting for Magneton? We do, and we see Aerodactyl come in, so great play from Fakes. Scouting for Magneton. Or just not wanting to catch like an HP fire or something. That could also be a stop process, but either way it worked out. There's Dawn Fan, and there's Finchinator in the chat saying in. You're in, Finch. Everywhere said pussy. Yeah, but I'm just kidding. Finch is my dude, but HP Flying comes out. And it hits Donphan for not that much. Because it's Donphan, it's really fat. Donphan's an interesting choice for a spinner. Because my experience with Donphan is that it's either not that bulky if you want to invest in attack, or it's not that powerful if you want to invest in defense. And of course, there's no rocks in this gen, so you don't get that utility. I'm guessing that's HP Rock or something. No, if it was HP Rock, Swampert would resist. So HP... I don't know what type of hidden power that is from Donphan. I don't know what Donphan's hidden power usually is. Usually the hidden power is like Bug or Ghost or Rock. But Donphan has Rock Slide anyway. Or at least has access to it. So Donphan's an interesting choice for a spinner, but I don't think it's that bad. We see Toxic from there trying to hit the Purd, but Fakes scouts for that, I'm guessing, and just goes to Fortress. I guess you beat most of the spikers in the tier with Donphan. Well, you don't really beat them necessarily, but they don't beat you, so you can spin. Like, the only spiker that I think that can beat Donphan is Cloyster. But Cloyster, I discussed this, I think, in the McMegan video, that Cloyster's presence the past, 2 years has really gone down. Like, I remember I used to see Cloister everywhere, but that's almost non-existent. So some EQs are going out. And I believe Triangles just goes for another Toxic right here on the Fortress. I don't know, he just goes for EQ, actually predicting that. Or predicting a switch to something else. But yeah, Donphan's just a peculiar choice. I don't know, I always find Donphan to be really good on paper, but just really underwhelming in practice. But I guess on this particular team, Donphan did what he needed it to do, which is to spin and I guess be a ground type that's kind of bulky. So now Triangles makes an excellent play right here. Fakes, I don't know if that's necessarily an excellent play by Triangles or a poor play by Fakes, but I feel like versus a Donphan, Spikes is not a good option. Maybe he has a grass type in the back. And we see that he does carry HP Fire so that the Fortress can't get KO'd and it can't get up another Spike. Or maybe a Fortress has EQ, it can go for that. But Triangles just has straight up HP Fire. And the last is Flygon. So unless this is Toxic Flygon, keep in mind, Donphan, I don't even know if it has access to Ice Shard in this gen. I don't believe so, but if it did, it wouldn't be good because Ice Shard is special. Ice Shard doesn't even exist in this gen. What am I talking about? Okay, but... Oh yeah, because that Flygon is not threatened by Donphan at all, except for Toxic. But unless Flygon has Toxic itself, then I don't think it's very threatening to Donphan. So the last isn't like a Celebi, so Donphan might actually be a little bit of a problem. Just because Fakes looks like he's definitely running well, not stall, but semi-stall with the Flygon. Unless the Flygon's one of those really weird defensive sets that don't make sense. To me, at least. Because they do exist, although, like I said, usually just the CBers are just like max attack that just isn't choiced is usually the way to go for me, at least. And that's almost all the Flygons that I see at high level anyway, but I have seen some that are like these weird utility sets. That might just be because people are bad though. Because like I said, I'm not an expert on ADV, I'm just pointing things out that I observe. So T-Tar's able to get a pursuit off on Aerodactyl. Oh yeah, with the Fortress gone, well, he has Swampert still, so Hero's still in check. But Triangles is definitely in the upper hand right now. However, these Spikes are definitely going to be annoying. But now Fakes can't set them back down again because the Fortress is gone. And Donphan has quite a few free opportunities to spin. If he can get Aerodactyl in on the right thing, he can spin. We have to see the Blissey set, and we have to see the Tar set. All of it really depends on movesets. Flygon, he should have a free spin, or a relatively free spin anyway. There's Focus Punch from T-Tar. So Blissey's going to switch out. So this is Sub Punch Tar, and Pert's more than likely coming in. Because we already see Celebi, so the likelihood of it being mixed with HP Grass is a bit lower on the T-Tar. Not that it still can't happen, but the likelihood of it is just less likely that it is going to be HP Grass. So I guess he feels pretty safe switching to Swampert. And there's Substitute, so we officially know now that it's Sub Punch and it's just not running Focus Punch randomly. Although usually only Choice Banders do that. And there's the bulk of T-Tar coming out. Ice Beam doesn't even break the sub. I don't think that's a roll. It might be a roll, but more than likely he was just predicting Celebi. And keep in mind, Rock types don't receive the 1.5 boost in Special Defense in Sandstorm this gen. They don't receive that until 4th gen, so that's just Tyranitar being naturally bulky. And now we see Focus Punch going out. Leftovers comes in on Pert. That's a pretty solid play right there if you're scouting for HP Grass. It's not... that's alright. Yeah, because he's scouting for HP Grass. The big thing is that Tyranitar now is behind a Substitute and can just gain lefties, but because you see some Focus Punch, in all likelihood, there's no HP Grass. If Triangles did have HP Grass and he just faked them out here, faked them. If he just did that, then that would be absolutely amazing, but it does not appear so because we see the Focus Punch going off. I'm interested to see what his last two coverage moves are. Because we see Focus Punch. And I know in DPP, most of the Sub Punch Tars are... They usually have something like Crunch or Fire Blast or something along those lines as their last two moves, or like EQ Fire Blast, Stone Edge Fire Blast, Stone Edge Ice Beam, something along those lines. So I'm interested to see what the T-Tar has. I'm guessing it has Rock Slide to hit Aerodactyls and things like that, but I'm interested to see what the last is. I doubt it'll be something like Pursuit because the whole point of Focus Punch is to hit things when they switch, so Pursuit makes no sense on that set. Maybe Fire Blast as well. EQ probably makes more sense though, considering that the only relevant steel, well, Skarmory. But isn't Focus Punch like a 3-hit KO on Skarmory, and you don't have Roost to worry about either? So Leech Seed goes off on Pert, Ice Beam goes off, but Celebi's just going to eat that up. Do we see him double Leech Seed? Or do you see him go for another move? Who's Fake's going to? It goes to Flygon. Probably makes the most sense because Blissey getting Leech Seeded is a no-no. I see him just go for the recover straight up. And Flygon very commonly carries HP Bug to hit Celebi, so Triangles has to switch out of there, more than likely. No U-turn from Flygon in this gen for obvious reasons, because it doesn't exist. So we can't go for that, but Banded HP Bug, which is what I'm guessing the Flygon is, just because that's the best Flygon set. It's gonna be good. Ooh, but Fakes is able to predict a switch. Predict the Donphan coming in. So it looks like all Donphan's gonna be able to do is spin, and it's gonna go down, which, like I said, that's how Donphan typically works in actual practice, but you know, it's alright though, because I guess Donphan did his job. It got spin off, and that'll be that. We see Protect going out, trying to get a little more lefties recovery. I can respect that play, even if it doesn't do him that much in general. You know, every little bit counts, especially in this generation. EQ goes off, and I think by that damage it's pretty much confirmed that it's banded, and then we see Toxic come here. So the Donphan has Toxic, and he chooses not to spin. It's going to be interesting to see how that play works out. I can't say if it's necessarily a bad play or not, because, I mean, 4 out of 6 of your mounts, well, 5 out of 6, but Donphan's going down. But Flygon is definitely a problem for this team. Actually, Flygon's a massive problem for this team. Unless the Melodic has Ice Beam, which I don't think he would have done that if the Melodic actually did have Ice Beam, because let's see, there's Hypnosis, Recover, Surf, and then it's really all down to the last move for the Melodic. Whether it's like Ice Beam or Toxic, or what's another move that they can carry? Don't they sometimes carry HP Electric for Gyarados? I don't know, I might just be crazy innovator, who knows, but yeah, it looks like Donphan is going to be going down soon. So things are not looking very good for the Triangles, because now he can't get the spin off, and T-Tar's able to take out Donphan with the crunch, but Donphan can't get that spin off, and all he really did this game, he being Donphan, was just get a Toxic off on Flygon, which might be good if Flygon's really that tough for Triangles to deal with, but CB Flygon typically doesn't stay in that long anyway, so I'm sure Fakes will take that into account. Ooh, Toxic miss, not good. Not good at all. Triangles is not looking good, because that spike down, especially with Roartar, potential Roar Pert, is going to be very annoying for him to deal with, and like I said, all he got out of it was just a Toxic on Flygon, and all likelihood is that Flygon doesn't stay in for that long anyway. So Triangles started out with the early advantage, but that last Mon Flygon is proving really difficult for his team to beat. HP Grass, it looks like, is going to come out from Celebi. I think Celebi only gets 3-hit KO'd from Crunch. Ooh, never mind. I thought Celebi was fatter than that. But I guess not. So Crunch just does a buttload. That makes no sense, that it would only 3-hit KO. Well, 3-hit KO maybe after lefties, I guess it'd be reasonable, like it does 54 or something, but now Triangles is going to sack the Celebi to Tyranitar, and this is another potentially questionable play. That Toxic miss really hurt him, as you figure that if this T-Tar just stayed in here and took all this Toxic damage, that Celebi would still be alive. I think so. I sound like Khaled right now. I've been watching too much of Khaled's Snapchat. But that's really unfortunate, because now his most reliable answer to Swampert is gone. Swampert pretty low, but Swampert is really sneaky about getting back with leftovers, especially with Protect. We already know that the T-Tar doesn't have HP Grass. So in all likelihood, Toxic from Milotic or Toxic from Magneton is going to be how Triangles has to beat Swampert. So he's just going to go for the Surf right here as opposed to recovering. I'm guessing he's predicting a switch. Oh, that was a switch. He decided to save Tyranitar. Wow, I'm stupid. I can't see. Okay, so Surf comes into Blissey. Blissey's obviously really fat, so it can take that. And now Melodic's got to switch more than likely out to Magneton as some sort of fodder, because at this point Magneton is pretty useless unless he's something like Sub-Magneton with Thunderbolt, HP Fire. Even though those typically carry HP Grass because you can set up on Steel types unless it's like Whirlwind Skarmory, but you kill that anyway. So the likelihood of that is really low. He still might be carrying Toxic on Magneton though, yeah, which we see right here. Maybe something like Toxic Protect. Or I know sometimes they carry Rest, although that's probably really uncommon. Just a pure Rest set on Magneton. I know sometimes Rest Talk exists. But with these Sleep Talk changes, that Rest Talk set's probably not very common anymore. Probably not very effective. And then Blissey's just going to go for a Toxic, predicting the switch. Maybe out to an Aerodactyl, but Magneton just stays and gets a Toxic off on Blissey. Blissey's natural cure though, so it's not really going to matter, and Magneton just goes for Thunderbolt. Any ideas of Sub go out the window right here. I guess we can see if it has Protect, and a little bit more damage can go on to Flygon. If he doesn't have Protect though, that's really unfortunate, and we don't see Protect. If he was Protect Magneton, that would be very crucial. Because now you can see what Flygon locks itself into, and you can get more Toxic damage on it, but I wonder what his last move is. Maybe Metal Sound? That's a potential possibility. I don't really know what Magneton runs as his last, though, in this gen. Because I know they usually run Toxic, Thunderbolts, and then their hidden power of choice, and then, like, I know Subtoxic, Rest. I don't know what else Magneton runs, so I wonder what his last is. Hopefully someone can educate me what Magneton's last would be, because I have no idea, so. T-Tar's just going to go down. Hidden power comes out. We see it's super effective, so it's actually not Hidden Power Flying. I wonder what that is. HP Bug, maybe? That probably makes the most sense. And then we see Aerodactyl coming in anyway. Regardless, the opposing Aerodactyl should be able to handle the situation. And I'm guessing Triangles just sacks Tyranitar here. Yeah, that just makes the most sense. Even though T-Tar would be useful, Melodic is really going to be your only chance of winning the game. Really just Melodic being able to Toxic Swampert. Or like I said, if for whatever reason you have HP Grass Melodic, even though I've never heard of that in my life. Actually, no, we saw Toxic from Melodic, so we know the full moveset now. And we know it's Toxic Melodic. So you gotta get that Toxic on that Swampert. And then that's really your only hope, because otherwise Swampert just outlasts you, and then obviously Flygon's gonna be really tough too. And then the combination of just fakes as 4 Mons has really good defensive synergy, so it's really hard for Aerodactyl to break through. Melodic can do it given the right circumstances, but Melodic, like, it's very unlikely that it doesn't get Toxic from Blissey. Because you can't switch out versus Blissey if you're in the Melodic spot. So EQ goes off. Swampert avoids the Rock Slide. That doesn't really matter too much. Well, it probably does a little, because Pert's going to gain a little bit of health back, but things are not looking good for Triangles. Just the situation is readily going downhill. Melodic has to recover right here. No option. Pert probably just EQs right here. And it takes a chunk out of your health, about a quarter. All the while this is going on, Swampert, like I said, Swampert has a little habit of just slowly just creeping back health with leftovers. Like, I believe there was a point where Swampert was below 40, and now Swampert's above 60 just with leftovers. It's going to get to about 2/3 here after this next set of leftovers. Fix makes a slightly questionable play with the Protect there. I feel like that was very obvious. Maybe he just wanted to scout for Toxic, but I feel like if you're Triangles, you have to recover right there, because Melodic is arguably your most important mon. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because leftovers is leftovers, and not getting toxic with your pert is more important than melodic being at high HP, because eventually melodic, if you're fakes, eventually the game plan is to get melodic itself toxic, and then it'll go down that way eventually. So having your Swampert at higher HP is more important, so I guess that play makes sense, just making sure Pert doesn't get toxic. So now Melodic's going to switch out of here, obviously not trying to get toxic. Aerodactyl comes in. If this was DPP and it was Roost Aerodactyl, things would be looking much nicer, but unfortunately this does not exist. Because it's ADV, and now the Blissey just throws out a toxic, Triangles decides that Aerodactyl is the next best thing. If he can get T-Tar in here behind a sub safely, then maybe T-Tar can make some magic happen. It all depends on what T-Tar's last move are, though. Maybe if he's super saving the HP grass and the wings, maybe earlier in the game predicted the Swampert switch. With fakes playing extra safe for HP grass, maybe that's the game plan. Or, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like it has Rock Slide, and then probably, if it has Rock Slide, then HP Bug for Celebi. That's what I'm guessing anyway. Like I said, I'm not an ADV expert. I don't know what Tyraniboa likes to run in this generation necessarily, but oh yeah, things are looking real grim for Triangles, but if Tyranitar has the right moveset, like I said, Sub Punch, we know it has Sub Punch, and then Rock Slide, and then Ice Beam would be nice here too for Flygon, but I doubt it has Ice Beam. Like I said, if it has something like Rock Slide, HP Bug as the final two move slots, and T-Tar can get in behind a sub, maybe something can happen. Maybe right now if he predicts Blissey. He just goes for Hypnosis though. Maybe I don't necessarily disagree with Triangles' playmaking, because of the fact that like it's really difficult to pull the trigger right there, and it's not necessarily the bad play, but I feel like just in retrospect, maybe playing more aggressive with Tyranitar right there, and then he tries to go for the second Hypnosis. Odds are that out of 2 Hypnosis, you're probably going to hit 1. Unfortunately, Triangles misses both of them, which ends up with his Melodic getting toxic. Once again, I'm not sure if that risk is worth the reward right there, and of course on the third one it hit. But with Melodic toxic, there's really no point. I guess at the same time, you can argue that he had to hit that Hypnosis, which makes sense too, but if you predict Blissey to come in right there, which is more than likely going to be Fakes' play, because Flygon and Aerodactyl being in are not really good for him. Unless, of course, it's something like Toxic Flygon, which is a thing, Toxic on Choice Band. And then maybe he just Toxics the Melodic. Otherwise, though, Blissey's probably going to come in, but maybe his thought process was to Hypnosis the Blissey, and then you get T-Tar in, and now you don't have to risk Fakes predicting a double. So, okay, now the thought train is starting to make more sense, but Hypnosis is just a risky move in general. And plus Triangles was down, so maybe he just goes to T-Tar anyway. But at the same time, though, like, if he just EQs right there, which I don't know if he can do, because getting Swampert toxic isn't that ideal, but you don't know the Blissey moveset, and it's a stall team, so there's a decent probability that Blissey could have Aromatherapy or something. So maybe that also goes into the thought process of not trying to risk it, and you figure that out of 2 Hypnosis, one of them is going to hit, because it's a 60% accurate move. So, I can understand Triangles, but like I said, I don't think he made bad plays, but it's just that, like, in retrospect, you wish you would have done this, but like I said, I felt like Triangles did what he could. Just Flygon and Pert, that combination was just really difficult for his team to beat once Celebi went down, and missing the Toxic with Melodic on Tar was really rough for him. I don't know, I just feel like Triangles' team wasn't that, like, it's kind of weird, like, and then we do see Hidden Power and it's neutral, so it's looking like HP Bug to me, but I feel like his team is, like, it had to have been a specific counter team for something, because I feel like it's not powerful enough to break through stall itself, and it doesn't have enough backbone really to deal with offense. And it just gets outlasted by opposing stall, which like you're seeing right here. Fakes or triangles rather is just getting toxic, and Smogon just smashes through everything. Which, like I said, that's what I'm saying. Is you're struggling with Smogon. Imagine something like CB Gross trying to break through your team. Like let's take a look at his answers to CB Gross. He has Melodic and Magneton, but Magneton gets smacked by EQ, and then you know, how much speed does Magneton typically run? Because I know based on like base speeds they type, but I'm going off on a tangent at this point. The game is still going on. Triangles is also saying in chat he should have poisoned Pert when he had the chance. I don't know when he necessarily had the chance to poison Pert. I don't recall off the top of my head. That's probably there and I just don't remember it, but that definitely would have been a good play, poisoning Pert when he had the chance. Maybe on the on Melodic, rather than recovering early, he should have Toxicked. I think that's what he's talking about, which probably makes sense. But with Melodic Toxicked, the morale is minimal. Smogon did go down though, so if some super duper rock slide cheese goes down, maybe Triangles pulls it out, gets a bunch of flinches. Keep in mind, Pert's not exactly that high. I mean, you're only doing a net of like 5% or something with rock slides on Pert after leftovers, but like I said, CB Aerodactyl, super cheats can happen. Who knows? Apologize for that. Laptop screen decided. Oh wait, the arrow's toxic. Never mind. Arrow's gonna lose anyway. I forgot that it was toxic. So yeah, at this point it's truly over for Triangles. He still had a chance. He definitely made some misplays, but I feel like the biggest error came in his team building. It just wasn't. I don't feel like it was assertive enough. If you know what I'm saying, like if he's gonna do stall, he didn't really commit to stall. Or semi-stall or something along those lines, and he didn't really commit to offense. He also didn't even really commit to balance. He just, like I said, I felt like he tried to counter team him by running some, unique options like Lean Melodic, Don Fan, and I don't think any of them really panned out well. And good triangles have played better, yeah, but I think that's probably the source of the issues. But triangles definitely could have made some better plays. Fakes played pretty well. Just using some semi-stall, fairly standard. Like I said, that Fortress though is making a comeback. I guess I don't think I don't think I've seen a game yet that didn't have a Fortress in it. Still haven't seen Cloister though. Cloister's dead. Well, like I said, I'm just going off on tangent. So GG's to both players. Fakes played really well. So congratulations to him. I believe he plays for the Cryonicals. So solid win for him and the Cryogonals. Yeah, I hope to see you next time. So, yeah, later, friends.